So hello everyone, this is OK here, and we're watching Crazy Genius against Anara32 in round 1 of the 2020 Crazyhouse World Championship. We've actually already missed game 1, in which Crazy Genius was black. It was a d4, d5 game, London system. So far so good. Openings, trying to control the centre. We have the first trades, really good play from both sides. Takes here, puts pressure on. And maybe the slight error is putting bishops along this diagonal, and that's not the key diagonal to protect the king in a way. And so you'll see that when black now puts pieces on the board, well, we'll see what happens. Well, there's pressure here, so it's material to begin with. So really quite, he gets in on the back rank, that's the problem. And white resigned in that position. So we're in game 2 now, and it's quite a fight again. And it's again a d4, d5, a delayed d4, d5, but Crazy Genius goes, instead of the London system, for g3 and developing the bishop with the fianchetto. So h3 will come at some point to protect that weakness, and that comes indeed. And okay, Anara trying to undermine the key to getting in is these light squares, obviously. And so he's trying to get in on these light squares. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So he wants. Why does he want this? This takes. Okay, that's a heavy sack from black. So black's sacking a little heavily, maybe. King moves out the way. Bishop defends. So white defending nicely here. And the problem is black sees what happened in the first game. Rook will land here, and doesn't like it. So white is starting to exert his dominance in this game, threatening rook takes knight. Knight comes back to defend. Free piece here. But the game goes on. The game goes on. And we should be live on Lichess also. The problem with black is not having enough pieces in this position. So we are indeed live. The Crazyhouse World Championship, indeed. Okay. So it's white to play. Takes. Takes. King takes. Knight here. And queen here is checkmate. So with that, Crazy Genius takes the second game as well. So I think anara32 played quite well, but I think he just sacked a little bit too hard. And now he switches up from d4 to e4, really is changing things up. And black is playing a similar opening to how I would play, in fact, with the delayed d5, just... but this is good for white, this position. I mean, in my experience, he's hoping to get a knight in on g2, that's the point of this move. Queen has to find a square here, it just gets kicked and white develops, so probably here makes sense. This also makes sense, actually. But the queen needs to be... There are two ways. You could do this. They probably do this is best, yeah. Crazy Genius does. I feel Crazy Genius is playing this pretty well. So this is attacked, but this is defended, so sort of... He's opening up this d file, but the rook is going to come here for sure. And we're probably going to see a knight landing on d5. So difficult to assess. You don't want to allow knight takes c7 because it's checkmate. So that's a serious enough threat that you might want to even do something like rook d7. I don't like knight e6 just because now how is this bishop going to develop? It needs an extra move to develop. Maybe he's thinking of doing this and takes here with check. That's also an idea. Okay, it's no longer check. But interesting. Okay, so just going to try and kick that knight. The thing about this knight also is it's also blocking the defense of d7. Again, Anara, I feel just sacking a little bit too hard. Just a little bit of lack of patience. Um, it is true, it's quite hard to defend. Like, you don't have a pawn to block with. But take it here, put a knight here to defend, to block, if rook at g8. I feel like white's sacking just a bit too hard, and Crazy Genius is just going to play the materialistic game here. I mean, this knight at the moment is hanging, for example. That's actually quite an interesting move, because rook at g8 takes is quite a fast attack. You have to think of like the number of moves. So and the bishop is actually finding great coverage, so you never want to take here, even though it's a piece. Unless you're mating, you don't want to do that. It could be your mating. Takes, takes, check, takes, takes, takes. You've only got one knight. No, this is a good move. But just knight takes, actually. Knight takes is strong. Knight takes, bishop takes knight. Oh no, you've got to be careful. If the bishop ever moves, rook here. Oh no, sorry, I'm just being stupid. The bishop is rook bishop here. You just take it. Whoa, I just lost the game position. Yep. So he does do knight takes in the end. Yeah. So we're going to see bishop takes for sure. Ah, rook takes. I mean, it's strong attacking from Anara, but I feel it's lacking a certain control. So once Crazy Genius has figured out how to solve the problems, he'll be very safe. It's not so clear. I mean, bishop takes knight does take away defense. This is a kind of dilemma. What is the weakness in the position? Oh, he goes for it. It is slightly risky. What's the idea of this? Takes, takes, and he wants to pick up the queen. He doesn't do that. And this is a terrible move, because now you want to do moves which are also defending you, and that's actually undefending. So just, yeah. This is looking scary, though, I have to say. Oh, he's allowed too much. He's allowed too much here. I don't believe in that attack, though. Maybe I'm wrong. So here, king takes c7. Okay, so it turns out I should believe in this attack. And knight at b5, this very counterintuitive move is actually pretty strong. Knight at d8 was a safer version of the same thing. Yeah, knight at b5 is actually very strong. I mean, that's very impressive. An impressive find. And of course, the tempting move here is pawn takes queen. But takes queen and saying, yeah, that doesn't work. Queen at d1, of course. So, well, yeah, king c6 was the best try, but bishop b7, king takes b5, a4. But okay, I'm very impressed with a5, king takes a5, and rook at b5. But I'm very impressed by Anara finding finding that mating combination, it was not an easy one. Like even Stockfish doesn't see it at all. Like at this point, Stockfish is not seeing anything. Okay, it's seeing something different. Rook at b8. At c7, king takes, and he sees at depth 13 it's still not seeing anything. But knight at b5 is a forced mate. I'll leave that in another window. See if it... And so that means Anara does take game 3, and as black he's again switching up the opening. So yep, he's going to sack, and this is going to be hard. This rookie one move turned out to be very wise. And so yeah, white is crushing here. So just the squares around black's king are too weak. And if we just go back, how did it all come about? It's really difficult to say what went wrong. This was obviously a mistake. That was something needed to be done around here. Maybe playing f6 was necessary at some point, but it's really hard. Yeah, to say exactly what. But at least there are no pieces in hand, so maybe just castles even was an idea, because neither side has pieces in hand. But okay, it's hard to say. Really hard to say in that position. Okay, so he gives up the queen, and what's the idea of this move? Just taking a pawn. I mean, black has got a lot of knights, so I think... Okay, so he didn't take here directly because the bishop just takes back. So he just wants to increase the pressure. And black is going straight in for the kill. But black doesn't have much material in hand, that's the thing. Only 2 pawns. So, but if you can get that knight, then that would be lethal. So that's the dilemma. Oh no, this is giving knights. This could be... Yeah. Already there are attack ideas. Pawn check, knight check, and so on, but this is just even stronger. What to do in this sort of situation? Pawn takes pawn earlier. Would that have been a possibility? No, you can't, because white's attack is incredibly fast. Pawn takes knight. It's just an incredibly fast attack. So queen is landing here, and it'll be mate next move. It's checkmate. Is it not? Okay. It's not quite checkmate. Not quite, and he's ended up blocking up the file. That's a shame. Miscalculation. But it's all over. It's all over. Knight here, check, rook here, for example, being a neat way of finishing it. And he does it. I'm just slightly curious. What went wrong for black in this sort of situation? So it's this sort of position. Knight at a4. So castles is... Yeah, I was thinking maybe just castles is the thing to do. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's still hard. Yeah, this bishop comes in. Yeah, so it's already pretty tough. Maybe it's all the way back here. No, there's something. It's already gone south, this position. So I'm just curious what what exactly black did wrong. Yeah, rook b8 maybe feels a little incorrect, but it's not clear what else black should be doing here. Queen a3 seems speculative at best. Knight a4 is putting the knight on the rim. That doesn't feel right. Simply castling, maybe simply castling is okay, but it's a very pleasant position for white. So something has gone wrong sooner, as it were. So maybe all the way back here. Maybe this is not the move. Maybe knight here takes this bishop. Just try and relieve the pressure. Is one idea. Or take this bishop. Okay, so just wanted to get some kind of insight into that. So back to the live games. Okay, we're seeing this opening again. Knight takes pawn. I mean, this pawn is defended. It's defended by the bishop, it's defended by this pawn. White hasn't got any material in hand. I don't know if Anara has played. This is painful, and then this is coming. So Anara is maybe showing a little too much attacking zeal in these games, but definitely he's playing with good fighting spirit. So the threat is simply promotion. So in very uncomfortable positions, down a lot of material, he's obviously black's threat is simply just come in on the back rank, but he's playing with a lot of zeal, with not much material in hand. He's trying to promote and so on, and causing some difficulties. Yeah, it's not so easy. Just picking up pawns. If he takes this, no, these squares are both covered, so it's difficult to see how to continue the attack. And I guess well, he's all out about attacking with anara32. Have to give it to him. Got to be careful, but white has no knights. So what are you going to do? Grabs a knight. So the threat is knight at h5. Probably put a pawn at g7. Try to get a rook and so on. Okay, we're seeing it. Knight here. King has to come here. Okay, he's going for the bishop first. Oh, has he just walked into a mating net? He only has one square. This is, oh, it's so close. Yep, it's all over. That was, oh no, it's not. I'm being utterly careless. He has this. But that was definitely playing it in a very risky style. Oof. Oh, black is letting himself get attacked. This is dangerous. If this is this, and that's checkmate. So he has to step up, but then this is surely going to be mate somewhere. Yeah, that's nice. So the king, where can the king go next? Still got a lot of squares, but this is a killer. It has to go here. Oh, you're walking into things here. You're walking into things, surely. That was the move, surely. Oh no, yeah, the king could. Yeah, the pawn is defending this. Oh my goodness. So yeah, so oh the king. That wasn't defended. Okay, this is hairy. Oh, he's given up the queen. That's surely going to be a mistake. So with the queen on board, I'm sure there's going to be a mate here. So if king takes pawn, simply queen here is checkmate. So you have to look for escape routes. Oh, that's a nice move. So he's willing even to take this bishop, if necessary, if the attack fails. But there are not that many squares for this king. Just 3 squares to control. And now you have another bishop in hand. That will control this square. Oh, these squares are already controlled, sorry. So there's only this square to control, and that's all over. So Anara got there in the end, and brings it to 3-2 to Crazy Genius. So, well, Anara does attack hard. So we're seeing Anara now trying to avoid. If I just go back to the beginning again. This is a kind of try to avoid theory kind of way of playing. And the danger is you just get squashed by white's advancing pawns. So light squares are a particular issue for black, and what's an issue for white? White's fine. There are no threats in his half of the board even. This is very desperate. When you're using pawns, just yeah, it's not pretty. So this is not working out at all. This strategy. White's got a huge material edge, as we've seen in a lot of these games, but also black has nothing on this king. You just see this kind of great wall of China he's building around his king. What can I say about it? I mean, the only way you can get in is some kind of back rank, but there's a lot of work to be done before you can do anything there. Just going to go there, go for a pawn at c2, these sorts of ideas. There's no real reason not to take this. And Catpoach says queen takes d6. Looks tempting. Well, that is nice, isn't it? Queen takes d6. Takes. Knight takes. You have to watch out. This bishop's got this X-ray into the position. Here, pawn here, king here. Promotes. Probably take it, and then you have a rook in hand. This is very direct, but remember white is very safe, so he can actually get away with it. You are picking up a lot of material in that. Oh, he left the diagonal. Okay, sorry, there was a reason why queen takes here was not a good idea. So knight takes here. Okay, queen takes here. This is trouble. And the mate threat is simply bishop here, check, and to make it a back rank situation, and then queen at d8 checkmate. So that's what he's going for. Some kind of blocker on f7, and then this is checkmate. Ah, he's not going for the mate. Well, there must be a lot of mates in this position. And in the meantime, look at this king. This is definitely a way to play Crazyhouse. Make sure your king is safe. It's utterly nothing that black can do here. Again, this is a threat. Mate and 2. The bishop cuts off the king from coming further forwards, and so we're now just going to get... Yeah, nice suggestion from Cat Poacher there as well. So basically what we're saying is both sides winning with white, except that Crazy Genius won game 1 as black. So the pressure is on to anara32 to, at a minimum, keep up the serve as white, and then try and break, because there's not long left. I should say both these players are not well known. They're both pretty decent, but they're not well known. Not well known Crazyhouse players, which is why there are not as many people in chat as in some of the other streams. anara32 with a very fast attack. Does it work? So yeah, it does. Knight there, check. If you come down, queen here, check, and you have a smothered mate with a knight. So you had to come up. King takes knight. I think it works, but I'm not seeing it all the way in. I thought queen takes pawn was definitely the next move. You want to take the free material. Having said that, you could just take this knight. I mean, and that black king in the middle of the board is looking silly, and there's no threat on the white king. So needn't take too many risks here. Oh, this is nice. I like rook takes knight still. Rook takes knight. And then what's the continuation? The king is threatening to come in here, so he has to go knight takes. And then the queen is... Oh, okay, he doesn't have to go knight takes. Oh, but this surely can't work. Okay, because basically he only has one square, and the question is, how do I deliver a check on that square? Okay, so you have to think like this. You only have one piece, so it's difficult to deliver a square with one piece. But wait a second. We have knight here, check. King here, rook here, mate. Oh, that also works. Yes, so you deliver a check that covers b1. So anara32, gosh, he does know how to mate, doesn't he? Impressive. Crazy Genius is 2400 bullet and 2200 blitz, so he's a good chess player. Yeah. And anara32... trying to think, who is more of a Crazyhouse player of these two? So anara32 has played 414 games of Crazyhouse in his life. And I'm wondering, I'm just trying to work out who's the more experienced Crazyhouse player. Because I assumed it was Crazy Genius. Yeah, but he's only played 200. So, interesting. Okay, I'm going to wind back to the beginning of this game. So, Anara held serve, but he has to try and break to make this interesting. And again, he needs to also just... The thing with anara32 is he needs to know how to conserve his... Ouch, 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 ouch. He's getting completely overrun as black, that's the thing though. I mean, this is just a disaster. Okay, rook g8 is a threat. It's difficult to move the king fast, it's a slow moving piece. And there are no pieces around your king, so you need to plot pieces around your king to defend. Ah, good board vision from Crazy Genius. I mean, I'd say bad board vision earlier, not playing at e7, but good board vision here. Looking at a different avenue for attack. Very difficult. How can black attack with just 2 pawns and a knight? Not so easy. Okay, so finally he's going for this e7 business. Oh, what? I mean, really? This, and then takes, and then takes. So he just takes automatically. Not sort of. So yeah. So black really trying to build a wall in front of his king. And the wall is swiftly broken down. This is not going to end well. So it's white's turn to mate. Let's see if you can get on his mating shoes. It's only one knight. That's going to be enough though. Maybe there's a better way of doing this. I mean, there's a sort of slow way of doing it as well. Okay, so he's just going for a very simple idea, rook at h8, checkmate. With lots of other ideas in the position as well. Like this, like this. Rook here would be mate. If the king ran up. Actually, it wouldn't be. What am I talking about? I meant rook here, knight takes here. Something like this. So pawn, king takes, knight here. Not knight here. Rook here. No, knight, yeah, knight here first. Then here. Anyway, you've got too many pieces. It's quite clear. Actually, that's not true. If the king gets to g6, it's not so obvious. I was trying to think, how do you mate on with h7? At h7 takes knight here, king here. This is what we're going to see, basically, if he goes by this sort of route. Knight here, king here, and you need another bishop to here, and then you go here, and then knight takes pawn check. Ah, why am I not seeing the mate? This is embarrassing. Okay, he's going for a very slow mating approach, which is of course going to work. What's the forcing mate here? You've got too much material here. This is completely, it's a complete god. Here, but then he can still come here, and then there's that's it. Finally, defends here, so that's check. Oh, yeah, he needed this one. He needed this one. Okay. And that's going to also do the job. No, it's not, because king takes. He wants to get it out again. King here. Oh, there's a beautiful mate. What is it? There is a beautiful mate here. I just got a feeling. Knight here, check. Struggle is real with the mating here. So you take, queen here, he runs away. Oh, I've only got a queen and a pawn left. And the problem is the king is running away like this. Oh, running away again. Good move actually, defending with the rook. That's impressive. I think that's it. Or will it be his undoing? I think it's right, because otherwise the queen was coming in with checkmate. So rook was a very good defensive piece by Anara. Oh, okay. So he found a nice mate in the end. Oh, that was pretty. But there was a mate a lot sooner, I'm sure. So at what point? I mean, so at this point, there's a forcing mate here. I was thinking. Okay, I was thinking knight at f6. Let's ignore the engine. I'm sure this is probably mating. Takes, takes. I was worried about king goes back to f8 as being the best defense. So apparently it's not quite mating. Okay. And then a little bit later on, yeah, in this position, I'm really sure that at h7 is mating. But again, I was struggling seeing it. So if here, then you can clear away the back rank. And knight at h6, king h7, bishop at g8. If king here, just rook here is checkmate, so king has to come here. Bishop takes pawn. If you go back here, pawn at g6 goes back, rook at h7 is checkmate, so we have to take on f6. And now, oh god, bishop g5, just to cover the escape route. And the point is that you can't take here, or this is checkmate. But if you go here, then this is checkmate, amazingly. Okay, so not actually easy mates in this position, but there were mates indeed, with at h7. And of course you can't run because of rook at g8. Okay, so back to the live action. So it's 5 games to 3. Anara needs to win 2 in a row to get it to a tiebreak. And we're seeing the same kind of openings as in other games, except he chose not to take on d5, so queen remains on d8. Okay, so it takes this pawn. So expecting a queen trade, potentially. And there is a queen trade, but on white's. On black's terms, rather. So, oh, I'm not sure whether to describe it white's terms or black's terms. Yeah, you need to. He needs to take back with the bishop in this position. Like, it's very important. So this was great, this exchange, because he kept this open file, and he's the one in control of the open file. That's why, in a sense, I called it on white's terms, even though black did the trade. Now this is good because you're reinforcing this diagonal. But when you take back, if you don't take back with the bishop, you've lost. Okay, I understand he wanted to have this diagonal open instead. Yeah, the problem is then he had to play defensively with pawn at e3, and that pawn really should have been for f6 or h6. This is a slight problem. So it takes, but black has actually got complete control on these two squares. Okay, having said that, they're both weak, and this is a beautiful move because it hits both squares at once. That's a very nice move. Is it fast enough though? Just simply queen at g2 picks it up. Okay, but black misses that. Just goes for a huge attack. It's quite a nasty attack because with a queen in hand, if you step back here as mate, and this is just going to be mate. He's thinking about it, but the king keeps on getting driven further up the board because queen here was mate, and yeah. So he takes the match 6 games to 3. We're into game 10. Congratulations to Crazy Genius. Um, he breaks serve in game 1 and in game 9, and let's see if we have a game 10 or not. Looks like that might be it. So Crazy Genius with a very symmetrical performance, winning the first 2 games and the last 2 games, and splitting the middle ones. Well, I'd say rather winning the first and last games and splitting the middle ones. Okay, that looks like they will just go ahead and play game 10. Okay, so some extra fun for us. Anara has something to figure out as black. He did really poorly as black, and that really cost him in this match. It's not that he lost, it's that he was run over in almost all the black games. I feel like he's played this one very well. It's a shame he didn't play this sort of setup in other games. He's always got to watch out for h6, but he's already making progress into white's camp. Takes. Queens are going to get traded. Oh, queens are not going to get traded off. Or are they? Solid play from Anara. I like it. Don't really want to take like this. Okay, so white's going for a counter-attack, but it just doesn't work. And he's losing double pawns, and he's getting queens traded. You don't want to trade with... Yeah, you probably want to get castled first, but then there's knight here check. Okay, so he doesn't want to trade at all. I really like the way Anara has played this game. He's really played much more controlled Crazyhouse. Here, yes, very important. You don't want to push the c6 pawn, d6 will become weak. So it's very well played. He comes straight in for the attack. Excellent play. This is just absolutely brilliant play from Anara. So far, just don't want to do this because I'm worried about this check and then a trade of queens. It looks concerning. Okay, so at e7 is an idea Crazy Genius missed in previous games. I'm sure he's not going to miss it here. So although black would love to attack and undermine the position, he really can't afford to just yet. That's a beautiful find there from black, just winning a pawn. Absolutely brilliant move. Takes. Oh, he didn't capitalize. What? Oh, that's a bit of a shame. I feel like he should take. Oh, I see what it is actually. Takes. Yeah, wasn't necessary to put the knight there. It seems because this knight is. Oh, this knight is hanging, and then there's a threat here to picking it up the queen, but you don't have the knight in hand. Okay, so it's this. Okay. So black's lost some material, but okay. The white king is not so... Ah, you get to save your knight. Excellent. No, save your knight. Oh, he doesn't need to save the knight, because he's got a knight in hand now. So I just forgot that by taking here, he actually has a knight in hand, so you can never take here. You can never take here with the queen. Ah, why didn't I notice that? Okay, so this is a nice move, forking this knight and taking it. That's a very nice move. But this, yeah, the light squares are too weak. He's just going to get overrun on these light squares. In the meantime, black is actually surprisingly safe. Knight here will be coming, at g2 will be coming. So what's the idea? That just be taken. He was hoping probably for king takes, knight at here. It doesn't work. He moves the queen out of the way. Yeah, just attack. Seems reasonable. If knight takes queen, knight here check. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, that's such a miss. So, oh, maybe this... I mean, obviously white should go queen takes, and then white is completely safe. But knight here check is very strong, because if queen takes, pawn takes, and you have a huge threat here. And, oh, but I guess white still has knight at g3. But, yeah, this is trouble. This is complete trouble. This is not going to last. The question is, do we want to pick up a queen or not? Yeah, I guess pick up a queen. It's the safest way of proceeding. And mate with queen at e2. So anara32 takes the last game as black. Woohoo! Well done to him. If he'd done that in some of the earlier games, he'd have caused a lot of trouble. I was thinking in this position, so I'm completely wrong. Taking the rook was the best move. So there's my intuition. I was thinking of this, because the point is if you take here, this doesn't work. There's knight h4 check. If you step back, pawn at g2 is mate, so you have to step up. Oh, you have another knight, so that's why it's so easy. Knight at h5 is mate. So you do have to take this knight, and so my calculation was takes, takes. You have this mate threat on h1, and you could throw him all sorts of random checks, but ultimately you have to defend the mate. And I was thinking the only way to defend the mate was knight at g3, and apparently it just doesn't work, because you have knight at e2 deflecting that knight, and then checkmating. And I should say, before this match, Marlon C was asking me about Crazyhouse puzzles, and as he knows, there's this chessvariance.training website. But on that website, you need to find the fastest mate. So I was just quickly sharing with him, of course, zhchess.blogspot.com, my Crazyhouse website, and in there there's an index of studies. It might be slightly out of date, but there's still a lot of resources there. And if you look at practice against computer studies, you have a whole host of studies, probably about 300 or 400 studies of puzzles which you can practice against a computer. There should be more. There should be a lot more. But a lot of the studies of puzzles I did I haven't converted into practice against computer studies, and some of it I have, but it hasn't been added to this site. But there's a lot of stuff there to practice on, to practice mating, and I feel mating is incredibly important. So congratulations to Crazy Genius. He takes it 6-4. That's all you need to win the match, and see you next time.